Tell the panel about yourself, your academic qualifications, your work experience, if any, and your main hobbies, very briefly.
Okay, sir. So my name is Shruti Sharma. I have been a student of history. I was born in Bijnor, educated in New Delhi. I completed my graduation from St. Stephen's College, and currently I've just started my post-graduation in sociology from Delhi School of Economics. And I am constantly like to learn new things and explore new cultures through language, food, books, and cinema. And I'd like to see myself as an optimist.
So, Shruti, uh, you are a graduate, and you have done MA also in sociology.
I've
Delhi
just
School of
started my
Economics.
MA.
Sorry,
I've just started my MA.
you have started. Oh, you have started this. Delhi School. So, with the Stephens, in your background, and with the Delhi School of Economics, both are so internationally known institutions. I do not know what you had in mind initially, but why civil services?
So there are a number of reasons why I want to pursue this profession. Firstly of all, sir, I believe that I have had a certain privileged background, and therefore I always wanted to do something in which I could give back to society in some way and bring about some sort of change in people around me and give other people an opportunity to have the sort of privileges that I have had, sir. Secondly, I believe, sir, that on a personal level, I believe the diversity and the scope that these services provide can be an avenue for great personal growth and an avenue for learning a lot, which it would provide me, sir.
Okay. So, Shruti, you are from Delhi. Now, how the safety of women, the perception about safety of women, has changed over the last, say, about 10 years, ever since Nirbhaya happened?
Yes, sir. So the Nirbhaya incident was a turning point in terms of the global discussion that happened around Delhi regarding women's safety. So, in a sense, it was a turning point, and a very bad incident set the precedent for a lot of good steps that were taken post that time period. So, a number of steps have been taken since that time period by the union government and the Delhi government in that regard, ranging from the Nirbhaya Fund to certain steps by the Delhi government to increase CCTV coverage and reduce dark spaces, to also increasing scope for better mobility for women, be it in the space of women marshals in the buses at that point. So I think a certain progress has taken since that time period.
Shruti, have you heard of a matter going on, Hindu minority status?
Yes, sir. So I just recently
What is
read
the
in the
issue,
news.
if you can just throw some light?
So, in the limited knowledge that I have currently, sir, about the topic, it is about the authority of the state versus the center in deciding the status of minorities with respect to religion. So there have been certain cases, as far as I recall, sir, such as the TMA Pi case, which talked about whether the minority status can be decided on a state level in terms of religious minorities, or it can only be decided in terms of the central government. So I think that is the issue.
No, but this is primarily related to Hindus being given minority status in those states where they are in minority. Presently, even if suppose in the case of, say, Punjab or JNK, right,
Yes.
where Hindus are in minority, but the actual minority status is given to those who are in majority. So a PIL is in Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
The center has asked Supreme Court to consider this, that we would like to give minority status to Hindus in those states which I have mentioned. Now, since I have already given you an idea, what are your views about it?
So The Constitution of India does protect the status of minorities in India as a whole. And so I believe if for certain purposes and for certain positive reasons, the Supreme Court does decide to give minority status in a particular state to reduce atrocities against certain sections within the state, it can be a positive move.
Viren sir?
Question, I'll take it on. You see, the Supreme Court does it. Supreme Court in no way is in a position to stop atrocities. It will only adjudicate a matter in view of the constitutional scheme. What does the Constitution provide? So how do you think it would stop atrocities on minorities, religious minorities at that?
If it can provide in the future a certain safeguards that the minority status can provide and certain special steps that can be taken for minorities in a particular state.
Can you give any example when Supreme Court has provided safeguards, laid down safeguards? You heard of Vishakha's case?
Yes.
Okay. You've been a student of history.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think, whom would you rate as a foremost historian of the later Mughals period? Who are later Mughals?
So I would say the period after the so-called fall of the Mughals or the decline of the Mughals, so post Aurangzeb, so would possibly be regarded
So you
as the
think
later Mughals.
Beyond Aurangzeb are the later Mughals?
Yes, sir. So which are not considered so high and mighty in the course of their achievements.
Okay. Recently, there has been a talk. Certain people feel that there is a need to review and rewrite India's history. What is your take on that?
So I personally believe that the writing and rewriting of history has been a continuous part and parcel of history since time and forever. And I believe rewriting of history is always a positive step. But at the same time, I believe this rewriting should be based on certain facts that history recognizes and the range of sources that history as a discipline recognizes. So if the rewriting is done in that regard, it can only lead to more positive debate and discussion in the long term.
What do you understand by Warsaw Pact?
So the Warsaw Pact was a pact signed in 1955 in the context of the Cold War, led by the Soviet Union. It was a security pact formed in the context of the formation of the NATO and an opposition to the NATO, sir.
I have another question from history, on history. Yes. What was standstill agreement?
Sir, I can't recollect at this point.
Okay. In your resume, I found that you took part in parliamentary debates. Now, how are the at school or college level debates different than parliamentary debates?
Sir, in college there are a number of formats of debate we participated in, ranging from parliamentary debate to conventional debating to turncoat style of debating, and there were a lot of variations there. The structure of the debate is a 3-on-3 format. So while certain positions were the same, such as opposition, leader of opposition, there was a whip speech as well. But I believe the parliamentary debates at school were on a particular topic. They were more structured and within a certain time limit, sir. As compared to parliamentary debates in the parliament, I do feel that sometimes they are quite long and are not in a point-to-point format as we discussed in school and college.
One of your pastime or hobby is exploring word cinema. Now, what is exploring word cinema? What does it involve? How do you explore it?
So, the reason I chose the word explore is because I am no authority on world cinema and I like to see and look at movies as they come to me, and as one leads to the other. So ranging from Iranian cinema to cinema of Hong Kong.
You are not a student of languages. So other than Hindi and English, what language do you know?
Sir, I have tried to learn reading and writing Urdu. So I know the Urdu script. I like to learn a few phrases here and there from my friends who are from different states.
So you will explore world cinema from subtitles, is it?
Sir, I believe world cinema is more than just dialogue. The very vocabulary of filmmaking and cinema, I believe, does not necessarily need language to convey it. Sir. So I think that is my interest in world cinema. And subtitles, obviously, sir, help me understand the story better.
Have you heard the term soft power?
Yes, sir.
What does it imply?
So soft power is usually used in opposition to hard power, where hard power talks about a certain military might. Soft power, on the other hand, is the influence of culture and other aspects in increasing the might or the influence of a certain country or power over other powers. So cinema can also be one example of...
Any other illustration of soft power in context of India?
So India's cultural outreaches, for example, yoga, an international celebration of the International Yoga Day across the world, can also be an example of India's soft power.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Shruti, you are from home district is Bijnor. So tell us something about Bijnor.
Sir, Bijnor is a district located in western UP, sir. The river Ganga flows through it. So it is a very fertile state. Sugarcane being one of the major crops of Bijnor, and therefore sugar mills and the sugar industry is also very well developed, with 5 of the most largest sugar mills located here. In terms of historical importance, the place Vidurkoti is associated with Bijnor. There are a number of prominent personalities from Bijnor, ranging from Vishal Bharadwaj in cinema to poets like Dushyant Kumar, to historical figures like Abul Fazl associated with Akbar, sir. So it is truly a very rich.
What product has been assigned to Bijnor district as a part of ODOP scheme of government of UP?
Sir, woodwork and wooden craft, especially associated with Nagina, is assigned to Bijnor.
Okay. So what is this Amrit Mahotsav? We keep hearing about Amrit Mahotsav. What is this Amrit Mahotsav? Now the whole country is celebrating Amrit Mahotsav.
Sir, the government of India is celebrating 75 years of India's independence through Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, where we are celebrating the Indian culture through performing arts, through our handloom, through celebrating our history. So various steps have been taken under this, ranging from establishing tribal museums to organizing certain cultural events to organizing quizzes related to India's culture on online platforms as well.
Okay. So basically we are celebrating 75th year of India's independence. So even after now 75 years of independence and so much of progress on various fronts, still we have a good number of people who are having severe problem of poverty. As per recent data of Niti Aayog and even the international poverty check, we have, I think the number of course varies around 7% to 12% from different sources. What could be the reason why we have not been able to tackle this problem?
So, I believe that a lot of progress has happened since the time period of India's independence, where close to 60 to 70% people were below the poverty line, to currently today, where close to 20% are considered according to the Tendulkar committee report. So a certain progress has taken place, and the progress is ongoing, sir. But simply because of the huge challenges associated with such a large country, with such a huge population, and the over dependence on agriculture to a certain context, I believe, has been responsible. But government steps are ongoing to reducing these hurdles by taking steps in the realm of industry, in the tertiary sector, and other spaces.
What is the current size of Indian economy in US dollars terms, approximately?
I can't recollect the exact.
Okay. So we have set a target of 5 trillion US dollars economy by 2024-25. Currently we are at around 3 plus. Do you think we will be able to go somewhere nearby by that time? Is there any, what measure do you think can Government of India take to really give a big boost to our growth?
Yes, sir. So I do believe that I am an optimist, so I would say that we can surely reach this level. Certain obstacles are there, especially in context of the COVID pandemic and certain repercussions of the COVID pandemic, which have been on the global economy as a whole. But personally, sir, and as per the Niti Aayog report as well, infrastructure is one area where we do need to spend a lot of money in. So the Niti Aayog has said that $4.5 trillion should be spent in infrastructure creation till 2030. So that is one area we need to work on and are working on. Secondly, sir, is the area of industry and manufacturing, which the government has also given a lot of importance to, especially the PLI schemes and Assemble in India programs, which we are encouraging. MSME is also one sector in the manufacturing sector. Through various Mudra schemes we are pushing forward. Thirdly, sir, is agriculture, because more than 50% of our population is dependent on agriculture, and unless and until we tap on that front and diversify and add more value added products to agriculture, that can't be done. So in that context, giving importance to food processing industry is important, and bridging the gap between the farmer and the market through technology is also one step.
So what is the scheme for basically promoting the food processing industry launched by the Government of India?
So there is this scheme, I can't recollect the name, but it
PM Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. So in your opinion, which is the very significant public policy initiative in the last couple of years by Government of India, which has done really, in your opinion, has done really well?
Sir, I think in the light of the COVID pandemic, the PM Ayushman Bharat Yojana has been very instrumental in expanding the public health infrastructure across the country and providing affordable healthcare to most sections of the population.
So in your hobbies, you have mentioned practicing yoga. So you do it every day, or?
I try to.
Okay. So recently, one very important development has taken place with respect to traditional medicine. Are you aware? Last 1 week only, and quite something to do with WHO, the traditional medicines.
I'm sorry.
Because we are establishing the first WHO center on traditional medicine. It has been approved. Okay. So now, as civil servant, what do you think that you will be, with your knowledge, with your experience, with your education, how do you think you will be fitting into that view of civil servant?
Sir, as per my background, I feel that my background in history can help me understand present social realities in a more wholesome way, and therefore solve them using that background of history and the social sciences, sir. So firstly that. Secondly, sir, I believe I think I do have an ethic of dedication towards my work and personalized work ethic, where I am able to stick to deadlines and perform work in an organized manner. So that I think can help me, sir. Thirdly, I believe, sir, that I I like to work in teams, and I have good interpersonal relationships with people around me, and I have been told so. So that also I think can be an asset.
So have you any experience of working in a team in your college or university days?
Yes, sir. I was in school. I was in the student executive, and I was appointed as the secretary of cultural affairs.
Okay.
So we organized all school events and participated in and organized all the events during the entire school year.
Thank you.
Shruti, you are a student of history.
Yes.
And you have sociology, you're studying sociology. What was your optional paper in the exam?
It was history, sir.
It was history.
Yes.
Okay. What stand has India taken on the Ukraine war?
So India has taken multiple stand on the Ukraine war. It has taken a very assertive stand in first and foremost condemning the violence perpetrated by both sides. So, and it says that it is bound by the UN Charter and stands for UN Charter and territorial integrity and sovereignty of any nation. It has also been talking to both sides and arguing for and asking for a position of dialogue and diplomacy to solve the war and a complete cessation of conflicts.
What is India's voting record in the UN Security Council and General Assembly?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. In the context of the Ukraine war, so India has abstained from any resolutions by either of the two sides condemning the other.
Is abstaining meaningful, or does it mean that it doesn't mean anything?
Sir, in the context of India, I think it is a meaningful stand, and it helps India maintain its strategic autonomy on the issue and upholding its national interest in both cases, at the same time providing itself an avenue for talking to both sides simultaneously and not antagonizing.